Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hey everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
and
Milly channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the gruesome game of the Gator Ghoul. So, JayBee, I know this was an episode you were particularly excited for, so do you want to lead us in with a little plot summary for those that haven't seen it for a while or that haven't seen it at all?
Yeah, so this is a bit of a different one where we see the kind of introduction. It's more or less what you expect up until a certain point where the gang are in the mystery machine, but Fred kind of makes a comment that they're almost actively on their way to research the Gator Ghoul instead of hearing it from a stranger or being warned about it by a mysterious innkeeper. In this case, they're actively expecting the Gator Ghoul, and the Gator Ghoul appears sooner rather than later, giving a mysterious filter towards a little bit of the intro of the episode, and we get to the location and we have the amazing Scooby Doo, who's like one of my favourite characters of all time. Now, Scooby Doo wants to become a police dog, so he joins Mystery Inc. to try and find out the bottom of the mystery on who is the Gator Ghoul and what is their motive. So we'll discuss that in the review.
Okay, so let's get into it. And like you said, this one does start a little bit differently in that the gang say they're following a telegraph, that the farm's having issues with the Gator Ghoul. Couple of things I'm picking up on here. Firstly, the word telegraph. Kind of showing its age a little bit, right?
What is a telegraph?
Isn't a telegraph kind of like where there was only like one phone point? Say like there was one phone point for the entire town at a post office. So it was a phone call that came through, but that was written down and passed across on a piece of paper like a letter.
See, I've got the weirdest and I'm sure most science fiction idea of a telegraph. I think I'm thinking of a telegram, which I don't even know if that's real, but literally just from like the Golden Compass movie where they sent a slideshow of things that go on a projector. I don't know, it's weird. I'm just imagining like a slideshow, and I'm sure that isn't it, but that's my reference point. It's not an email, it's something different.
I believe it's kind of the centre point of a phone call and a letter, if that makes sense.
Like a fax, but not quite a fax. It's just a letter really, isn't it?
Yeah, anyway, we're getting way hung up on that. Like you say, it's kind of a new approach that, almost like the Ghostbusters, they're directly going in to solve a case.
They are incorporated, which is, I think, kind of cool. But it's a weird way, it's a weird kind of story technique to call Mystery Inc. in, like, purposely. But also, I guess they... Well, here's what I never understood in hindsight. What this couple's affiliation is with Scooby Doo. Like, is Scooby Doo their dog? And then why does this couple never appear again? Like, it's kind of weird that if they have a dog in their family that aspires to be a police dog, why they would purposely call out Mystery Inc., who have, I guess, a similar dog. But I guess maybe because they understand... I don't know, it's weird. I guess because they know them already, it makes sense to call up a relative that can do a similar thing. I don't know.
And to some extent, you need that human element. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to listen to just purely Scooby solving mysteries on his own.
Oh, I'm sure people will, but I guess not in this context. You know, it's weird. It is weird, but I'm sure there's going to be theories about that.
So we see the Gator Ghoul, JayBee. What's your thoughts on the aesthetics of this villain?
Oh, it's kind of boring.
What?
Like, no, it's boring.
I expected you to
Please,
love it.
No, I do love it. I do love it. Please don't interrupt me. Because it's boring technically, right? It is just animal. Here's the thing. I absolutely love Gator Ghoul. Partly because of this episode with Scooby Doo in, partly because of the cyber chase, and just its mysterious powers, its growl. I absolutely adore it. To me, this is like an A-tier villain, maybe even an S-tier villain. But I also have to acknowledge that it is boring in the same way that show me the Ape Man, and I think it's like one of the worst villains that Scooby's ever had, like one of the laziest. And so it's kind of like if the Ape Man was in a Scooby Doo episode, if the Ape Man had similar writing choices, would I then think about the Ape Man the same way I think of Gator Ghoul? Probably, you know. And so that's the thing. I love the villain, but I acknowledge probably it's all bias because it is just the Ape Man, but with another, creature, another animal. What did you think?
I'm just in shock, to be honest, because I thought...
You're crazy.
No, I thought you'd be, like, in love with this film.
I just said I am.
No, but, like, you're saying it's just ordinary. Like, it's got the light-up eyes, and, like, it walks on two legs. It's not just your standard alligator, like, slowly, like, moving
Do
along
alligators not do that? I'm sure alligators can walk on two legs now. What, are you... genuinely not? Are they not able to? They just... Well, no, do they actually choose not, like... Are they physically incapable of it? No, like, they... Okay, no, come on, don't be like that.
Have you ever seen that movie, Crocodile Dundee? At what point did they get up on their back legs and start running after the guy on the back legs?
Well, horses can neigh on their two legs. Like, I thought crocodiles could do a similar, like, ooh, who's a big man thing.
Like, I might look like the biggest idiot now if I'm wrong, but I think that's hilarious, JayBee.
I'm sure they're able to do it. I think I've
Do you
seen
have your
somewhere.
phone?
You know what? I don't, because it's on charge for the
I don't
unboxer.
either.
We're gonna leave it to the comments, or we're most likely gonna Google it later.
Please, the JayBee, I 100% you've just made a big fool of yourself.
No, okay, well, look, one ability I don't think is enough. Like, what can apes do that... Like, apes can't really run on two legs. Like, I've seen videos of them, but they look hilarious while doing it. They don't look menacing like the ape man. And it's like saying... Okay, so penguins can't fly, right? They're flightless birds. So if there was the Penguin Man, who was a Scooby Doo villain, if that penguin could then fly, I don't think it would make it instantly S tier, just because it can do something that its non-monster counterpart cannot do. Maybe that's where I save myself.
That it would make a crocodile or alligator, whatever, so much more sinister if it was up on its back legs, running at you,
I'm gonna
than
say
if it was doing this with its arms on the floor, because they have really short arms as
controversially
well.
though, I'm gonna say no, because like you say, they've got short arms. If they're running on their two legs and they run at
you know, they don't run on two legs, JayBee. Their legs physically aren't long enough to balance out where their tail would need to go
but
under.
I think they're able to. But if if an alligator was running at me on its normal legs, I reckon it's going to be really speedy and it'll bite my legs off. But if it came at me with its massive jaw, like, going first, and its two legs, I reckon I thump it, lands on the chin, and it's sparked out. I reckon I can box up a walking alligator.
Let's move on. We're progressing, okay? So they're going to see Scooby Doo, and what I don't like is one thing about the alligator, that glare thing. So it ends up with this weird kind of sepia colour on the gang.
Yeah, I like it, but I don't like the effect on the episode.
Like, it's fine. It can have light up eyes. It makes it spooky. But that doesn't need to make everything go into a weird colour.
No, I was going cross-eyed. I think I nearly had another aneurysm. It actually wasn't pleasant on the eyes. For all it was cool, it wasn't pleasant to look at.
So, JayBee, we're getting to a conversation.
Oh, sugar.
That needs to happen.
We don't need to have this conversation.
So, Scooby Doo and Scooby Doo.
Oh, crud.
Do a dance together.
I actually was meant to have, and you wouldn't have appreciated this, but it was in my mind when we spoke about it last episode that I was going to have the Funko and the soda in front of me while we did this episode. Because I wanted, like, little mascots. Okay, so they do a little dance. Come on, this is your time.
What's your thoughts?
I like it. What do you mean? It shows how they're similar and also how they're different. It's like a perfect contrast, you know. It reminds me, I have this cousin, you know this cousin Oliver, and I always associated myself with a Scooby Doo and him as Scooby Doo because we're so similar, except I'm brown, he's white. And so whenever I'd go to Canada to see him, it would always be like Do and Dumb. It was. I think it's great. It always reminds me of...
I'd say more Dumb and Dumber, but...
No, that's actually great. Who's who, though? But it always reminds me of me and my cousin. or my cousin and I, if I was to be a bit more polite. So, yeah, Scooby Doo, S-tier character, he needs to return ASAP. Pronto. What did you think? Because you've asked me for a reason.
It's sweet. See, here's my thing.
No, you've come at me with an agenda.
Scooby Doo is sweet enough, but they're, like, very annoying.
Oh my god.
If they were in every episode, I wouldn't have got past episode 3 of Scooby Doo. I wouldn't have. I do find them relatively irritating after a while. The odd episode, it's like, oh yeah, that's sweet. I can see where the dumb bit came from, but okay. We'll allow it for a few episodes. But yeah, if he was in every episode, I wouldn't watch Scooby Doo.
Are you tripping?
No.
No. That's not it.
They're just a bit, like, childish.
No, because I think, in a way, and I do like Scrappy in some versions, but I feel like Dumb does what Scrappy was meant to do.
I will say something that's going to have everybody hating me.
Stop it. I know what you're going to say, but
I prefer Scrappy to Scooby Doo.
Let me justify myself. Because we see Scooby Doo doing something very brave. I think it's in this episode, and I'm sure it is. And the gang start praising Scooby Doo. Now, instead of Scooby, like, they could have easily have done this whole arc where Scooby gets jealous and he doesn't like Scooby Doo, and they try and, like, one-upmanship. And there is an element to that, as far as instead of Scooby getting like that, he praises Scooby Doo. He's like, yeah, that's my Scooby Doo. But then in the next scene, he tries to be brave as well. Like, I think it's a good blend between wholesomely, for lack of a better word, supporting each other, but also I think Scooby Doo inspires Scooby Doo to be more brave and outgoing, which is what I think the attempt for was with Scrappy, when Scrappy was like, oh, Uncle Scooby can do everything. But people got annoyed by that because Scrappy was all, like, aggressive and he needed to be fixed or whatever. Like, he was like, yeah, let me at him. Whereas I think Dumb perhaps added a bit more of that dynamic, but a little bit more tempered down. That's what I think.
For me, you know that moment in The Curse of the 13th Ghost when Velma's like, what's a Scrappy? You know how you feel towards Velma in that scene?
Yeah.
That's how I feel towards Scooby-Doo the entire time. I just find them really irritating.
Are you... Oh... Wait, so what? So all that time you stood by my side while I was hugging the Scooby-Doo Funko Pop, while I was kissing it and stroking it, while I was, like, caressing the Scooby-Doo Funko Soda, and I had, like, a little shrine for it. All that time you stood by my side, with snake intentions.
No, I like the Funkos because they don't move, they don't talk. They exist, and aesthetically, it's a character that looks great. I love it.
It's an interesting dynamic.
It's when he starts talking that I'm like, oh, good, we're back down to shorter episodes, aren't we? Great.
Well, I do appreciate this because I've never heard anyone say that before. I definitely don't feel that way. But then I'm glad that you do feel that way, because then it's just, oh yeah, I agree. So you would not be happy, for example, if... Not Crypto 2, because there's already another dog. But say The Haunted High Rise came out and Scooby-Doo was there. Say Scooby-Doo was the fabled returning character. Would you be like, these guys?
I wouldn't be that happy. I'd be like, I'm going to have to watch it for a review, but I'm not going to watch it again.
Okay.
I probably would watch it again, but, like, not the way I feel about Trick or Treat. Like... With Trick or Treat, I always want to go back to it. All the time. I was sat there thinking today, I want to watch that again. I feel like if it had Scooby-Doo now, I would be like, oh yeah, I want to watch that again.
You know, an interesting thing about Scooby-Doo, and I think this is why I like him a bit more than I would another character if they just, like, kind of threw them in. It's a different entity as far as it isn't just, let's have Don Messick do something a bit kookier. It's like an actual different voice, which is Dawes Butler, who I think has never appeared in Scooby before. So, I don't know, it just seemed fresh, new, but also he wasn't trying not to be too like Scooby as well. He was just... It was like a natural character that could be in Scooby's family. Whereas I feel that Scrappy, I think, is good, but I do feel like he was, there was more pressure on the Scrappy character, like, let's make him save the show, let's make him be so different that it's like this. Whereas I think Dumb is just a compliment to Scooby as opposed to a foil, and I think that that's what I like about her. But we can disagree about this for hours, and
yeah, we can. So ultimately, they all see the ghoul, and as you said, Scooby wants to be as brave as Scooby Doo.
Do they go to ghoul school?
I genuinely find that ludicrous. I'm like, no, he's not brave. He's just a bit of an oaf. Like, he just doesn't... No, it's like having a kid.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
You know where, like, they don't understand if they fall off a cliff, they're gonna hurt themselves. So they just run along the edge of it, like they just because they don't have a clue.
Well, they do
That's
say...
Scooby Doo. He's not brave. He's not bold. He's not strong. He's just an oaf. Like, it's just like, run along here and it's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna lift the Gator Ghoul's foot up because I'm looking for clues. Not realising the Gator Ghoul's in front of me. It's like, no, when like, Shaggy and Scooby are, like, a bit scared, it's endearing. You don't want this every episode.
But they do say that bravery is the nicest word for, like, idiocy. Like, and I get what you're saying, because I think I was braver as a kid. I went, like, skiing when I was a kid. I wouldn't do that today.
Think about me as a child, right, on this with my scooter incidents. I used to come in crying every time I played with my friends because I used to ride my scooter too fast. And every time I'd hurt myself. Quite frequently, I'd go flying into the middle of a road and fall off. Every time.
Oh.
And because I was a kid, it didn't register in my brain. Like, if I do that again, I'm going to hurt myself. Again, it was like, oh yeah, that was fun. Let's do it again. It's like that.
Yeah. Well, I tried to cuddle a skunk when I was a kid. And it sprayed me. No, I'm not even kidding. It was in Canada. See, there's a lot of Cousin Oliver stories coming out here. Shout out to Cousin Oliver. He's my Scooby Doo. He's a cool kid. He's
the first time I've ever heard you refer to him as Oliver, I swear.
Well, I can't say his
no,
nickname.
You can't say what you call him.
No, his nickname. No, it's an endearing nickname though. Like it actually genuinely is.
Okay. Progressing on.
So you hate Scooby Doo, do you? So that's fine.
I think aesthetics wise, it's great. It's like, oh yeah, you look like Scooby. But the second he starts talking, I'm like, you're not Scooby.
What do you think about his magnifying glass?
I don't even remember noticing it.
Okay. So let's move on.
Let's move on.
I
okay.
remember you mentioned in a previous episode that some particular sequence triggered a core memory for you, and for me that happened here when the Gator Ghoul gets sprayed by that pink Teletubby custard stuff. That to me unlocked a core memory because I remember seeing that when I was a wee baby. I actually do.
Do you know what's really interesting? We've obviously not recorded 2 Scooby Doo episodes yet, but we've watched 2 Scooby Doo episodes.
Yeah.
They're the only episodes of this series that haven't unlocked core memories.
Really?
Yeah. Neither one of the episodes with Scooby Doo in it has unlocked a core memory.
I don't know why I resonated then when you didn't. Like, there must be a reason.
The thing is like, I think I'm an impatient person. And so, like, I think just because I didn't like Scooby Doo and thought he was a bit needlessly stupid, I just didn't watch them. Like, I'm pretty sure if I saw Scooby Doo was in it, I'd have turned it off.
Okay. No, because he is a different character to the point where, obviously, if I love him, it stands to reason that people will hate him, people will dislike him. There's going to be that array of opinions. I want to know what the comment section thinks, because I guess everyone always has... Because Scrappy is so hated, that either leads people to agree with the hate or defend the hate. Whereas because I think Scooby-Doo's universally not loved, I want to say, but he's thought of fondly by people, that there's not really a need for the people that really hate him to speak out against him because he's not in the way. But then there's not equally that reason for people to defend him because no one's criticising him. So it's interesting.
I'd rather see another Return to Zombie Island than a movie that had
Well,
Scooby
oh
Doo
my,
in it.
no, why do you, I'm trying to like rationale this in my brain, and then you keep on keeping on, and it isn't fun. Look, okay, I'm saying this, right? If they said Scooby Doo would take it, like Scooby Doo is being introduced to the show full time, but Velma's going, I'd be the happiest. I'd be so happy. I'd celebrate.
I wouldn't watch it. That's where the channel would end, because I just wouldn't. It wouldn't be doing that. I'd rather Scrappy returned or like.
Well, I wouldn't hate Scrappy returning if they did it right.
Just not there for the character. Anyway, moving on. We meet this really nice girl who's like, the kind of the like people that make the sodas were like, oh, she's really lovely, she works here for free, we couldn't do it without her, and instantly I was like, it's you.
Yeah, well, I think I remembered it was her.
I don't remember seeing this episode, so I hadn't remembered it was her. It was just like, anybody that's that nice is suspicious.
It's dark though, isn't it, right? In a way, for a kid's thing.
Yeah,
for it to be a betrayal,
whose
not just...
name is pretty much literally lovely, to be bad, because she's called Dovely. It's bad.
It is bad, and it's like literally betraying old people.
Yeah.
Like who betrays old people? I don't think I know a single person that's ever betrayed an old person. Do you?
I could probably name a few, but I'm not doing it on recording.
Like who goes around betraying the elderly? That's not cool. That's not cool, bro. Like, and the fact that they trust her as well. Like, to me, that's mind blowing. And for it, like, and in a way, maybe it teaches kids that, you know, maybe think twice about who you trust, or I don't know.
But this is the thing. Like, it even said she paid their bill on one occasion. It's like.
To be fair, if she paid the bill but doesn't charge them for her services, it's kind of like maybe it's a bit on them for not making sure that it's all sound. I don't want to blame the old people though.
Yeah, but is it like they were just old to know, and like she obviously like things were modernising, and she started to take charge of their accounts, and obviously it turns out that she was making a payment into it and stuff, and.
Oh, was she an embezzle? Oh yeah.
It was something like embezzlement, wasn't it? Because she wanted to buy it and then sell it on.
Yeah, she should be in jail.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, progressing on. So, where do we get up to? They found out the Gator Ghoul was a mechanical monster.
Do they?
About halfway through.
Oh.
Scooby Doo jumps on it. There's a mechanism inside, but no person. Fred, Daphne, and Velma find part of a letter.
Uh-huh.
We then cut to Shaggy, Scooby Doo, and Scooby Doo making weird fritters. I don't get that scene.
I think it was just, okay, Shaggy and Scooby, and I guess by proxy Scooby-Doo, they're like the foodies of the group. Any instance we get, like even in the Captain Cutler episode, I think they were like in some abandoned ship and they try and whip up some grub, you know, in the galley. But here, it's, okay, they need to do something iconic, and by chance, it's going to set up what later goes on to capture the ghoul. So it's like two birds with one stone. It's the trap set up, and it's an iconic Shaggy.
Their reactions seemed like they were eating popping candy, though. You know, like the way they were shaking their heads and stuff.
I think I had a memory of them like fizzing about to the point where they ploughed into the ghoul, and that's how they did it. But okay. I don't know, it was weird.
We then cut back to Fred, Daphne, and Velma, who find the other part of the letter, and this is something that frustrates me. Like, when stuff lacks common sense. Like, you know how they don't think to piece the letter together? They're just like, yeah, we found it, let's get out of here. And it's kind of like, you'd put it together, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's like a jigsaw.
Okay, so they get back to find Shaggy and Scooby. Is it Shaggy and Scooby? No, it's just Shaggy that is stuck in the batter. And to get him free, he takes off his shoes, and Fred cuts him in like flour so that he can't get stuck to the thing again. And ultimately, that's how they trap the Gator Ghoul. They cover themselves in flour and get the Gator Ghoul to run across, who is of course revealed to be Miss Dovely. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, it's just sad, isn't it?
It is. So I guess, JayBee, that kind of summarises the plot. So with that, smash or pass?
Clearly, this is a smash. Like. And this is where I think I'm making a mistake with this. I think I need to cancel Smash or Pass I think we need a rebranding. Like, the visual doesn't even say Smash or Pass anymore, like with the movies, because I don't feel like Smash or Pass is gonna cut the cheese when it comes to this show, when it comes to What's New, when it comes to Mystery Incorporated, because I don't think it's gonna be sufficient. Like, I liked it. Yes, I think I liked all of the new Scooby Doo show. So I don't think Smash sums it up properly. I may need to go to like a normal rating system.
I've got an idea. We can't do this now because we've already started this series, but we could bring this in for series 2. How about we start by introducing a tier list rating of, say, bands like S to C. And then we kind of put it in the banding. And at the end of every series, we argue it out as to like a final tier list. So say you've put something in S tier and I've put it in C tier. We battle it out a little bit and have an overall tier list for that series.
That sounds like the right way to give me a stroke.
Oh.
I don't think we can do that. But I guess we kind of, I don't know. We do some of that, like a reluctant smash, a big smash, a super smash. It means nothing ultimately, but
it means we'd watch it again.
Some smashes are more significant than others. This to me is a super duper ultra instinct smash. I want this to play when I'm ascending to the heavens. And 2002. What about you? Would you smash or pass the gruesome game of the Gator Ghoul?
It's a smash. I might not like Scooby Doo, but it's a smash. Like, I'd watch it again. I wish everyone could see your faces at the stuff I said about Scooby Doo.
Well, look, to me, this is... I'm more upset hearing that than I have been... Like, one time, I was in an airport, and I do believe that I was racially profiled.
Oh.
And that didn't upset me as much as this recording. But it also didn't give me as much joy. Because it wasn't even like a nice lady, like, searching me. It was like a dude, you know.
Okay, and that does it for this episode. We're going to move on next episode to review What a Shocking Ghost.
What? Sorry, that's ridiculous. Yeah. We're going to do it. It's going to... Sparks will fly.
I don't think we have any community news now.
What day is it today? This is Monday the 28th of something.
It sounds like you're leaving like an end of life video diary.
No.
Have you seen the movie The Day After Tomorrow when there's just one guy on his own?
I haven't, you know. This is
or like Tony Stark in Endgame,
yeah.
just like, I'm here.
This is Monday the
Just me.
28th of before December. So I think there is nothing. I guess shout out. On Saturday, we did premiere the interview, this week's interview, which was with Jim Krieg, and that was crazy. That's doing so well. People seem to be really loving it. So please check that out. It's actually awesome. He's done so much stuff, and it's a collab, so that's just even better. So yeah, Jim Krieg interview. And even if Milly has severely offended you with her Scooby Doo slander,
2 more episodes and we're back.
then Milly is not in the Jim Krieg interview, so you don't need to. You can watch that to like cool down from the outrage that's occurred upon this episode. So yeah, if you do want to see more, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.